Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Forrest over here, and welcome back to Phoenix. Not Phoenix, what the fuck? Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. Last time, the last episode, which we did the midnight release on, we started the first case, but we never entirely finished it. So that's basically what we're doing today. We're going to be starting it up, and hopefully my thing will work for this thing. Nope. Alright, so without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get right straight into it. We're going to be finishing the rest of the first case in this episode, so without further ado, let's begin. March 14th, 4:18 a.m. Prosecutor's Building, 12th floor hallway. Now, some of this I have played, because I did try to stream this last time, but I got too tired to continue at one point, so I had to end the stream because of how tired I was. But I'm a bit more awake, so we're going to see if we can try to get this done quickly. What is with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable! Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. So then what now? Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is a perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door. Begin investigation. Prosecutor's Building, 12th floor hallway. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious nook and cranny. It's... Ah! Isn't this that missing O series file, sir? No doubt about it. The bloody letters marked it clear as day. There seems to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind. So what are these zero files about, sir? I guess they've got something that worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly. It's just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine. Huh? They belonged to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. Then that means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to the case from 10 years ago are missing. I wonder why anyone would care about such an old case. That's pretty much all we need over here. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. 1202. These 4 numbers on a number plate alone proclaim this to be my office. Whoops! Hey! These number plates slide right out, sir! They have to be able to take the plate off when a room becomes vacant, you know. Although, the idea that it can be so easily removed is kind of... yeah. I don't see any signs of forced entry. And according to the card, no signs that the lock was picked either, sir. Meaning that the door really was opened with a key. Did you happen to ask me if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wiped, they think. Whoever this thief is, You did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. A minimalist yet classy door made of top quality wood. It's steadily made, making it near impossible to break in by force. It's almost majestic, sir. I wish I could be as stately as this door. Only Gumshoe would praise the door as something greater than himself. Being a detective has its own rewards, and a certain virtuous value, I think. If you live up to your full potential, that's a poignant trait that anyone can admire. I see! So you're saying, sir, that me being me is the best thing I can do for everyone? Right. That long pause wasn't exactly reassuring, sir. Of course not. We'll talk to Maggie here in a little bit, but let's look around everywhere else. What is a basketball doing here? That's Mr. Portsman's prized possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. And not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in the hallway. Hey, boy Dada, how you doing tonight? How you doing today or tonight? This office. 1203. 1203. Hey, Maggie, whose room is this again? It's Mr. Portman's, sir. So he's my new neighbor, I see. I suppose he moved in while I was away overseas. What is a basketball hoop doing here? What do I think of the case so far? For first case, it might be better than the first two cases of the two Phoenix Wright games I've played already. Now I have played the first case of Trials and Tribulations, but it would be unfair of me to talk about that case without playing it on screen for you guys to see. So based on what I have played on a stream, this case would probably be my favorite one thus far. What is a basketball hoop doing here? Hey, didn't this used to be just outside next to the building a long time ago? So when and why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drive it up here recently. Drag it? I heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it himself. All the way up to the 12th floor? Yeah, that's crazy. Alright, so this guy right here, I'm gonna move the camera for a little bit here. So that way you guys can see who this is. Yep, it's Winston Payne from the trilogy. It looks like you've done quite the fence, Mr. Edgeworth. To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly post-haste. Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open. How gracious. I will keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again? So, like I said, this is Winston Payne. He will be the first person that you face in the trilogy, and I believe also Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. You will be dealing with his relative, a relative of his, in the Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice games. But for now, you're stuck with him for the 2D stuff. Oh yeah, I need to move my thing back. Is everything alright? Yes, sir! If you must know, I weighed myself this morning, and I'm finally at 154 pounds! Congratulations, but I was asking about this hallway in this room. Oh, everything's okay, sir. A word of advice. Stay focused or you may start to lose even more weight. This office. Wait, we already did that. So we already got that for now. Let's talk to Maggie. I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case. I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream. A dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing my notes to her with triangle. The victim. Have you ever met the victim before? Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Portman's office. Mr. Faith was always playing basketball with Mr. Portman, sir. That sounds like fun! Just once I'd love to play with him. It sounds fun, but the only person ever taking the shot was Mr. Portsman. All Mr. Faith ever did was pass him the ball, sir. On second thought, I don't think I'd have fitted at all well with him. Magley-Bird. Miss Magley-Bird, correct? I take it that you are an acquaintance of the detective? She was under my supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. One day she got caught up in a murder, and things started going downhill, so she quit. This is a reference to the first case of Justice for All, which we just happened to complete last night. The game, not the case. Yeah. But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. Or so I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night. You got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct? Don't worry. My whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building, I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster. And now... Oh, hey, phone, put your ass back up on the table. There we go. And now I've even managed to be named a criminal just when I've become a security guard. That's a lot to go through in one lifetime. I know! It's just when I thought I had finally found my happiness. I wind up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck. You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird, nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask in return is for your cooperation. Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth. You can count on me. I'll do all I can to help. Which means we do need to ask about the master key, so, I gotta press the right button first. So when did you discover that the master key was missing? By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 AM, sir. And I noticed it was back at around 2:30 AM. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. But I'm sure that between those two times it was not just gone, but stolen, sir. Master key was stolen. This key went missing from approximately 1 AM until 2:30 AM. Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place? It's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window. Always, you say? Except for this time, correct? Well, I admit I was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had used it that I left it sitting out on the ledge. You used a master key? Use the master key? What did you mean by you use the master key? Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? Ah! What is it? That's right, I just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir. What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird, quickly. Forgetful Mr. Portsman. It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the master key to him? No way! It's against regulations to loan the master key out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then? What happened after that? Well, he called for me to come up to his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 a.m., I think. So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight. Use the master key. This key was used to unlock and lock Portman's office at 12 a.m. and 1:30 a.m. Talk about suspicious! I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, detective. I think this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portsman's door. And so we shall. Right? Room 1203. I take it that this is Mr. Portman's office? Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir. Oh, that reminds me. Mr. Portsman had actually wanted room 1202 really badly. But since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him next door, sir. So why was Mr. Portsman so particular about getting room 1202? I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like his birthday is December 2nd. Yep, that's gotta be it. I can't think of any other reason why. I can think of at least 3. Why am I even wasting time thinking about this? The door is locked tight. I bet the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? This is the office of a high prosecutor, detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them. Aha! I guess only a great cat burglar would get in. That must be who our culprit is. Might I advise you to return that conclusion to whatever pawn shop you bought it from? A minimalist classy door made of top quality wood. It's kind of majestic too. Fits in really well with the ambience of the prosecutor's offices. Mr. Portsman seems dignified. Just because he works behind one of these. Nonsense. A man doesn't become more or less dignified because of where he works. Well, he still seems more dignified than Mr. Payne. Mr. Payne? I suppose custodial work can also be dignified. It's Mr. Portsman's personal basketball hoop. I can't believe you put something like this in the hallway of the prosecutor's office. But you know it's actually pretty useful, sir. I haven't gotten lost trying to get to your office since it's been here. How long have I had the same office, and yet you still managed to get lost? Alright. So let's do some logic and talk about the master key, because here's why. The key went missing from 1 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. And yet Maggie Bird said that it was used to lock Portman's office at 1:30. So someone had to have so the key thief had to have had it. So with that, Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. What? No way, pal! I mean, sir. You said that you locked up Mr. Portsman's office at around 1:30 a.m., correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time. Wow! Nothing that's by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. I had totally forgotten all about that. But thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right. It was around that very time that I realized the master key was missing. And? Well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. You pretended? Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir. So in actuality, you never did relock the door then? Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the doors have been locked properly. Mr. Portsman's office data jotted down in my organizer. Miss Bird unlocked the door, but the master key was stolen, so she could not lock it up. So now we actually got something here.
Eureka!
There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is this door locked tight? Huh? You know you're right! Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door? I am certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsman noticed it himself that I hadn't. Which means... What, sir? It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened with this one wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. She opened a different door. But how can you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is... we need to exercise these. Prints on the doorknob because they're the most important aspect of it. The prints on the doorknob will tell us everything. Hey you! Yeah, you pal! Do us a favor and see what you can learn from this, okay? So? What did you find out? There's no need for such belligerent and nostril flaring, detective. Sir! I found only Mr. Portsman's and Mr. Fate's prints on this doorknob. So only two people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive. Huh? I'm lost, sir. Thinking logically, a certain other person's print should be on this knob as well. Oh, then his print should be on this doorknob. I don't remember. Yeah, right. Anyway, yeah, no matter what I was thinking of. Let's just move on.
Take that!
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I meant to go from Magdeburg, but I thought I was on Magdeburg, but okay.
Take that!
Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? You mean? Yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. Mr. Portsman's office data updated in my organizer. Miss Bird says she unlocked this door, but her prints were not found on the doorknob. What have we here? It won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking cranny. Is this basketball property of Mr. Portsman? Yes, sir. He's always ready for a match. Basketball? soccer, dodgeball, tennis. It doesn't matter what sport it is, he's game. Although, I think it'd be a little hard to play tennis with this ball. Oh, that isn't the point you should be focusing on, Detective. You're right, sir. Now I know what I should be focusing on. Bad, Mr. Portsman. Someone should teach him to clean his toys up after he's done playing. I think we've reached the end of this conversation. Huh? What's this? What are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about a game? That's okay, Detective. I just found the position of this hoop to be a little off. Hey, you're right, sir. I guess it's shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk. The positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I better take note of this. Basketball hoop data jotted down in my organizer. Let's see. Alright, here. What is this? Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it. I bought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone. But it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later. Buddy. It looks like a note from the victim. Yeah, that's for Mr. Portsman. Note left by victim. Found under the door for the absent Portsman. Investigation complete. Poking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely. Huh? How so, sir? In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case. You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth. As far as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman. What? Mr. Portsman? I knew it! That's exactly what my logic senses were telling me too. I suspected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir. That is anything but logical. Lady and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Come what may, it's time to knock on the truth's door. March 14th, 5:12 a.m. High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letters, sir. Alright, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, take good care of this. Ah! Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. End of the line for you, Portsman. We've got you now. Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jacques Portsman, that you are the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay, if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing this job? I can see right through the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl. Haha, who'd have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? The legendary prosecutor who had never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. It really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? Are you done trying to play mind games with me because they won't work? The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Even though you have yet to prove anything. Anyway, Mr. Portsman's rebuttal. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we are done here. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something? I'll show you what I'm basing my accusation on, with evidence. Rebuttal. Mr. Boltzmann's rebuttal. Yeah, he asked how you could get in. Well, the master key. I believe you are able to open my office door with the master key logo. Objection! Wait. Hold on this for a sec. I never laid a single finger on that key, as you already know. As you already know. There we go. Precisely. You're able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. Alright. That's right. You used your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key. Take that! You had asked Miss Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah? I didn't try to figure out my through the hole. Happens too often for my taste, you know? What's the room you had Miss Bird open at that time? Wasn't that your own? Yeah, no. Okay. Right. But the room you had Miss Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. Why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? One of those about my crazy. Jesus. I'm certain that it was Mr. Boltzmann's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir. See? Miss Bird messed up my story. Yeah, I told if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you wanted. Ha! And how do you suppose I did that? by switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right, they do slip out pretty easily. Furthermore, you then used one as a tool to deliver very strong impression. Yeah, hold on, sorry about that. Yeah, I've been dozing off a bit lately, and I don't know why. The door she was opening was yours and not in fact mine. What was it that Mr. Portman used to make us first think that it was his own? Hmm. Long and hard about this one. Uh, Alright, but to answer the question, it's the basketball hoop.
Take that!
What? The basketball hoop, sir? It's quite the peculiar fixture in the hallway, let alone a hallway in this building, which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. Just enough it's perfectly suited to sit just out the office of a peculiar prosecutor. Ah! That's very true, sir, because there was a basketball hoop sitting there. I didn't think the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsman. That sign said a tube was thrown. Just sitting in front of my office to be sure. I see, so that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. So he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Mace Bird is also dirty and bloody as the jacket she wears. Let's see. My jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know. I just washed it yesterday. Please calm down while I intend to show who's the one truly covered in slime here. He seems to be trembling a little. One moment I'll push all I have to do is find the flaw in his testimony. Oh, hold on a second, I did. Yeah, I had to take that. That was a phone call I had to take. Sorry. Moving on. Are you sure about that?
Objection!
That was a lie. What are you talking about? How is that a lie? This is the note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. A note? It was left under your door. Or did you not notice? And right here it says, but you're out. You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you and what were you doing? Ah! Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around in my room. The very room you had Miss Bird open for you.
Objection!
That's just nonsense! You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way! This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you.
Take that!
I had your door dusted for prints. My door? Ha! What for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right, I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Her prints? What did they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her prints should naturally be on the doorknob she touched. Ah! Further, all the prints on my office door's knob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We know you stole into my office. We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me, and Detective Faith found you out. Possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said when you had the gun to my back. No one gets away with committing murder in my office. And just what's so funny, pal? Well, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of this officer's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me, is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all, and he even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery, just admit to the crime already. And as I said earlier, it's also circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that knob down well. Huh? I'm a little obsessive compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had touched, which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my own prints would be on there. You made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for the note Jim left for me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like, early evening, for example. Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse. Now that's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. Ah, but you can't prove that, can you? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir. Boltzmann makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only just realized I had one as we were talking. I guess it would have been better for all of us if I had told you sooner. Boltzmann's alibi. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 a.m., correct? And it was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But exactly what time, at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around, I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Are we sure about that? Anyway, do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like, you'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe. Sir, yes, sir. I'll go check on his alibi, sir. Be right back. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys down in criminal affairs said they saw him at around 2 a.m. You see? All of the evidence points to him being the culprit. So there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere. Rebuttal. Portsman's alibi. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 a.m., correct?
Hold it!
You are correct. You are correct. It was around 2 a.m. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time. I remember checking my watch then, and make no mistake, it was 2. Ooh, giving testimony like a pro! Okay, so you came back to your office at 2. And it was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit.
Hold it!
It is as you say, however. Yes, however, you are the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see.
Objection!
Oh, come now, I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs.
Hold it!
So you paid the criminal affairs department a visit. Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight for the precinct. Ask around, I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's a perfect alibi. Well, we did go and ask around to confirm your testimony. And it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time. See? I had the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Ugh! Impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi. What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we've reached the end of the line and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there! Sir! Please escort the young lady out. But remember, be gentle. Maggie! Detective Gumshoe! Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn the situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me cast doubt on this alibi? Mr. Portsman's alibi. The intruder I met could not have been Portman. Could not have been Portsman. And who could it have been? I need to calmly think this through one more time and with logic. So we did have another handgun involved, so, there were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once. Who's calling now? Hold on, I gotta take this. Okay, sorry about that. I got another call that I had to take. Meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. Turn this off. Not needed anymore. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Fate's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person. Which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Another visitor. Maybe the victim and his killer weren't the only visitors to my office tonight. Yep. Boom. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, that would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder, so it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it, and then once again after the murder by our second culprit. Who was the owner of the second gun? If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that pointed at my was pointed at my back.
Objection!
Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great! So you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth! Sir! What are you saying? This has to be a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, 2 culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean, 2? It explains why both my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were 2 guns. You know, this is my favorite, the favorite music involving pressing the truth or telling the truth. This is my favorite music out of all of them, if I'm being completely honest. Yes, that does include Trials and Tribulations. And, you know, it's just my absolute favorite. I don't know what it is about it, but it's my favorite one out of the bunch. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office.
Objection!
Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So then, this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then, just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office would be my guess. Oh! Because you were supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought that was odd, so he came into this office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Wait, that's Maggie saying it. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith while catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that, because he had also left the Faith dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another? Visitor, sir? Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. The stolen Zero file, right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So the shell's getting messed up twice, and the 2 bullets. It was all because 2 different people were doing those things at 2 different times. Precisely. So now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief, and was not in fact Mr. Fate's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant. Because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit.
Objection!
What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid! Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. You know, he does have a point, but we gotta prove that it wasn't. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there is still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. Grr! Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir! But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point. Don't say that, sir. I don't believe this! Don't worry, Maggie! I'll do something if I must! You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. Portsman's Alibi Part 2. That thief you ran into should be a real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came over to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. We'll see about that. So, you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course! Now isn't the time to be having these dead-end discussions. I don't think it's at all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Rebuttal. Portsman's Alibi Part 2.
Hold it!
Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith? Ah, that's because he said he was tired and wanted to take a quick nap. You know those sofas in the hallway? He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. And what of the evidence he brought? They were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. Yeah, we already got the... Yep, we literally just have the contradiction. Because if you remember, there were 3, he left him 3 items, not 2. So...
Objection!
Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase is the proper phrase here is, you fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as your intent to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't... hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read. Carefully. Ah! It says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces! Yes. And this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman. I can't believe till it tripped up by simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe. You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. Don't come any closer! I'm warning you! Hold on, we gotta see this man's face real quick. We gotta see this man's face. Boom, there's his face. This is all part of the investigation, pal! So don't even think about stopping me! No! Hey! What's this? He had this on him, sir! Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. But why would he hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would equivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. Pull the section of the tape that would drive the last nail into his coffin. The KG8 incident? That's a police case number, sir. Does that mean this video is evidence of that case? Interesting. However, what's recorded on this isn't what's important right now. Let's give the case a thorough once-over. Ooh. Blood! Ah! That's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No, you've got it all wrong! No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints? Nah! If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith. No! Impossible! And he swallowed his gold medal. And he passed out from swallowing it, I'm guessing. March 14th, 5:47 a.m. High Prosecutor's Offices, Room 1202. Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back, and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well. Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. It was nothing. Really. Compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. If it had been a hold-up or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. You know something, sir? That Mr. Portsman really was one corrupt prosecutor. And why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard that there was a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir. Forged evidence, huh? And they say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. Oh, that guy was just a complete disgrace to the entire profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near that topic, he just clammed up. Although we can be pretty certain that it was to steal something. This is just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. Oh? Well, well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly leads credence to that rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Huh? That Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy? I didn't say that, but rather there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance to this piece of evidence. And that would be this.
Take that!
The person who stole this file. The other villain of the night. Yeah, I wonder who it was. And what happened to those stolen pages? I wonder. Who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint? Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Yes? I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card. What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It is the mark of the raven. A three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective. Oh! It's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everyone's talking about? Yes. It is the mark of the great thief Yatagarasu. Under the mark of a legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The thief is always performed in silence, and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent for him. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the 10 target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although it has been a while since the Yatagarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth! Look! Something's written on the back! What? Let me see. It's the location of where the thieves put the stolen files! So the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu? Yatagarasu. Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming. For they were here heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. The end. Trophy earned. Turnabout visitor. Alright. So with that, Next time on Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth we start episode 2, Turnabout Airlines. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this is Forrest Walpole, signing off.